Hello, welcome to another episode of Indigenous Survival. I'm your host, Jeff Gibson. Today I'd like to talk about fishing. Because I watched this a few days ago, I watched a episode of Naked and Afraid, and they were doing some fishing. And then I seen some on YouTube that talk about, how this pole is really good. This branch that they cut is really good for making a fishing pole out of because it's kind of springy and stuff like that. And personally, there ain't nothing wrong with sitting back with a pole and fishing. There's really not. Great pastime. But in a real survival situation, like I told my wife, I wouldn't sit there with a pole. I got more things to do than wasting 3 or 4 hours or 5 hours with a pole. That's why I would use like a spring pole or an L7 trigger and set several of those up to so that way they could be fishing while I'm gathering firewood or other wild edibles or repairing my shelter, making my bed better. So, but as being a fisherman, there's been a lot of times I went to pay lakes or even other lakes and rivers and that where you can see the fish right there at the bank, and you go, well, hold on a minute, I'm gonna pull my pole out of the water and I'll sit it right there and they'll nail it. Well, most of the time that doesn't work. Those fish don't seem to want to bite right there. Well, I started thinking, well, good fishing spear. And that's why I'm going to show you how to make one today, because just while, they're there and they're not biting your bait, doesn't mean you can't use that spear and get even a bluegill. Which I personally happen to do like bluegill. To me, they're one of the best tasting fishes out there. Yeah, they're a little bony, and yes, they really fillet them for crap. But for just pan frying, they're a great fish. But I'll show you, some of the stuff I actually do carry when I go out. My little fishing kit. First of all, I don't see nothing wrong with just throwing a whole roll of fishing line in your pocket, mine won't fit in my kit. But instead of these using little bitty, I've seen people use bobbins for sewing machines. I've seen people use sticks or little dowel rods and wind it up. I got 3 of these full of fishing line. That gives me, time I do all that, I could just throw one of these in there and I got 150 yards. I could set several traps up, several spring traps up. So that has more than one use. You can use it to lash your stuff together with. It's not, the greatest, but hey, it is good cordage. But my little fishing kit, I put in, I use one of the dry boxes. Somebody asked me before, why do I have snap lights in there? Well, on a video I did last year, they float really well. And if anybody's been night fishing, it attracts the fish to the, light and to the bait. So I got those in there, just several, I don't know how many I put in there. I do have some regular bobbers. I'm not going to get everything out, but I got regular bobbers, I got leaders, several different hooks, individually, packaged separately. I did this for ease of keeping everything straight. And instead of digging around in a box trying to get, to find the one that you want, it's just easier to have them packaged like that. But I got sinkers in there. Everything that you would need is in here. Like I said, these are great for night fishing because you put them on there and they do float like a bobber. But okay, they do float. They make a great bobber. I do have, but that's more of a night thing. I do have regular bobbers in here. Like I said, I'm not going to get everything out because it's a pain in the butt. But, just generally anything you can think of for fishing. I got leaders, which are great. how I would fish, like in a survival situation, like I said, I'd have it several spring poles up with tied to an L7 trigger out there. They're working when I'm not. Well, I'm doing something else that's going to benefit me. But like I said, you know, make a nice little fishing spear to, you know, as you're checking the traps or whatever, if you're looking around, you see some fish right there, you know, of course, only do this stuff in a survival situation, because there's no, I don't know what the laws are really about fishing with a spear. If you do it at a pay lake, some of them may not let you. I have contacted a few of them, and I have had some of them tell me, no, it's only poles only. So, you know, but in a real situation, laws are going. I hate to say this, but in a real situation, laws do get broken. You know, might not be turkey season, but you're starving because you got somehow out there and you see a turkey. Guess what? Maybe not turkey season, but that turkey is going to be mine if I can get it. So, with that being said, I'll show you. I cut this one down the other day. What you're looking for, good amount, you know, decently long. Because remember, fish can see on the bank. That's why, you know, when I used to go fishing with my dad, he'd tell me, you know, don't go near the bank. You know, don't move around a lot, you'll scare the fish, because fish can see. So you want something decently long. You let your, now this one's kind of not ideal, but it's close. I have one in my house that I made that's, I did do a little extra stuff too, but it has actually 3 prongs, because the one I found, the stick arced over, but still went up straight too. So, I've made it into a nice fishing spear. It works pretty good. But found this one the other day. Like I said, you're gonna want something decently long because you want to stay away from the shore. So they're real easy to make. All you have to do, hope I don't drop my log first, which I did. Gotta fix my seat, sorry guys. Took my hammock down, didn't put it back up yet. It's just, all you wanna do, get rid of any little thing on here, because this is gonna be your points. Just wanna cut off all this. Takes relatively just a short time. Works good when you have it's a lot faster when you have a nice sharp knife. Now you can do this with any type of knife you got. Sometimes I use a little pocket knife, but I grabbed this one out of my house today, so this is it. Like I said, you don't have to I wouldn't get really fancy if I'm really in that out there, I'm really needing to survive. Sometimes I just like making them just for the hell of it. And I kind of put embellishments on it, you know, I fire harden them. And I also put, you don't call them hand grips on it. I take leather and wrap in places where my hands would be. But you're not going to really do that out in the woods. Now another good one is what's called a gaffer stick, where the branch has another one that angles backward. Actually, it would be going straight, but if you can see one that's going this way, nothing here, and you cut it in the right spot, it's good for hooking them back towards you. But anyway, so what you want to do is, after you trim all the bark off, you just want to work all the way around it till you get a nice point. Do this one here too. Okay, sorry, I wanted to cut out some of that. Didn't want to share everything. I didn't want you guys to have to sit there and watch me cut this for a long time. So anyway, what you want to do is you want to get them kind of pointed down to like this. Now you could use it just like this. You could. But what I like doing is putting a couple little barbs in them. Stops the fish from getting off of it so easily. So all you gotta do, I'll do one. Just take your knife. I did switch knives, by the way. My other one was nice for doing some things, but when you're trying to make it a little more precise, I go with a nice, smaller blade. Anyway, just carve into it little notches. Just be careful not to poke your own self. Just put a couple little notches right here. You don't want to cut all the way through, obviously. There's one. Come down here. Again, just put a, you don't want to go too deep, but you want a nice little notch. Kind of helps catch the fish into it. Remember, I got some pretty ones I could show you from my inside. I might bring out and show you what you could do with them if you're not in a real situation. But this one here is just to demonstrate, a quickie. Now you could also use this on frogs. It'll work. I like it to where, not every time when you're out there fishing, sometimes you can see the fish. They just don't want to bite. Now, I could make this a little sharper, a little more pointed. You can thin them down even if you want. But, you notice I got a couple little barbs right here. That'll help stop the fish from sliding off. I could make them deeper. Just go ahead and do that a little bit. Ideally, you would do this at night while you're sitting by your shoulder, sitting in your shoulder by the fire, getting ready for next day to go fishing. Like I said, you can use it for a frog. Like I said, you can use it for frogs too. But again, like I said earlier, you want to make sure your state laws for it first. You can thin this out a little bit more if you wish. A lot of things that comes to that, it's just more trial and error. Now I got this. Now you should see the little barbs. I'll try to turn it where you can see it a little bit better. They don't have to be massive, but now you're armed with a spear too. So when you're going out there checking on your traps, and like I said, a little noisy out here today. And like I said, ideally, what you would want to do is, instead of sitting here, I could turn this into a fishing pole, tie some string on it, with a line, sit out there, just fish. But hey, you know, I got more things I could be doing than that. You can never make your shelter good enough. You can never stop looking around to see what's in your areas that you can grab. There could be cattails, which have a multiple bunch of uses. You know, you got the tubers, which are like a potato. You got the shoots, which is, I'm not saying it tastes like it, but you can, you know, you eat it like you would a piece of celery or something. Cut it up, add it to your salad. If you found other wild greens, there's always things you can be doing. There might be a berry patch close, so you want to gather there for not only the berries, but some of the young leaves that you can turn into a tea. So all these shows that show people sitting there and they, well, I'm going down to the river and fish. You know, that's just to me a waste of time. Because if I could set some traps up, some, you know, what you want to call them, a spring pole fishing trap, or you want to call it auto fisherman, whatever you want to call it. You got those out there. Well, you know, that's what should be working while you're doing other things. But to make yourself a quick little spear, now you could do it with a single point. You know, if you don't happen to find one that has a sport that you can, but it's a nice straight long enough one that you could turn this part into a spear itself, the spear tip itself. Just remember put in some barbs so that way the fish doesn't slide off of it. I happen to like I said, I got one in my house. I'll bring it out and show you in a second. That it's got 3 barbs on it. It's got 3 prongs and they're all barbed. You know, ideally, like I said, that's the one I like. You know, I got 3 points. 2's fine, 1's fine. But that way, if you're out here fishing or you're checking those traps and you see some fish, well, you can just take it, you know, the length of it allows you to stay away from the water enough to where the fish can't see you, you know, and then you got your fish, if you're lucky enough. You know, fishing ain't exactly like going down to the store and buying you some catfish fillets or tilapia or anything else. But I thought I would say, you know, show you about this one because why? It just makes more sense. You know, I like sitting at a river too and a lake, talking to my friends, drinking some beer and fish, but you're not in a survival situation. Survival situation means every minute of your time you should be doing something, even if it's at night before you sleep. It's too dark to fish. It's too dark for this. Yeah, but you can be working on stuff. And as far as the fish traps go, those basket traps, okay, so, you know, like I said, you want to put a few barbs in it, like I did here. I could, now if I was, ideally I was doing this, I would be doing it at night while I can't do anything else. You know, it's too dark to fish, it's too dark to hunt, it's too dark to gather anything. I've been tending my fire, so I got, you know, some time. Ideally, that's what you want to do. I mean, to me, is when you have that downtime. Because during the day, you should, if you're in a survival situation, you should be looking for, one, setting up some signals to get rescued, you know, gathering firewood, keep you warm at night, cook your food, boil water with. That's a lot to do. So taking it 3 or 4 hours during the day to sit there with a pole in the water, which if everybody's, you know, gone fishing, you know it's not that easy. That you just don't throw a pole in the water and bang, you got fish. You know, that's why I like something like the fish traps that work for me. spring pole traps are to me are the best. Whatever trigger you use on it, so that way, you know, you get caught, gives you time to do everything else that needs to be done. Maybe put more insulation on your shelter or in the bed, whatever. Getting water to purify it, whether it's boiling it or with a filter or whatever the case may be, it gives you that time. But like I said, this one's just a quickie. This will work, but if you had the time, like I said, and you want to get a little more creative, this is one I did a while back. See, ideally, I have three. I found one that has 3 spikes. Actually, this one's a continuation of this, where they branched out. I fire hardened them. I went ahead and fire hardened the whole entire thing. These little marks that you see right here in tape is where I'm going to be putting some grips, wrapping it with some leather strap. Just why, I don't know. Doesn't improve it any which way, but hey, it does give you a little bit of a grip to hold on to. I just like adding stuff to them. Obviously I wouldn't if I was out there trying to catch a fish with it. And another thing is, it gives you, not only do you have the spear, now I would clean this up myself, but this quickie thing gives you something to hold on to as you walk, so it turns it into a walking stick. There's no real reason not to make yourself a fishing spear. Because like I said, not only can you use it as a walking stick, you can use it to, you know, poke. If you got some, you know, if you needed to poke into something, you know, to see what's there. But ideally, like I said, it's a good fishing spear, quick made. I hope you found that little information a little helpful. Like I said, I don't see why not throw a whole roll of fishing line in your kit. If you can't fit it in your kit, you can put it in your pocket. Okay. You can put it in your pocket. You know, now speaking of pockets and stuff, I just got this in case you guys are just noticing or wondering what the hell this is. It's a Swedish military tankers coveralls. I happen to like them. Been trying them out and stuff because you got 7 good pockets, zippered pockets in it. You got little, you can hang this loop. I'm not exactly sure what in the Swedish military this was for. Have no idea, but it snaps. Has a, yes, I think it does. Yeah. I have no idea exactly in the Swedish military what in the hell that was for. Maybe it's to put your hat. Hell, I don't know. But good place you can hang a knife from it. Take this part that goes on your belt, put it there. You know, but it's got plenty of zippered pockets, 7 of them. Got 1 on each arm. Unfortunately, unfortunately, it doesn't have a pocket in the rear, like for your regular jeans or anything else. I figured that's probably makes sense though, because if you're driving a tank or you're in a tank, I don't think you want pockets on your butt. But it makes up for it by having, you got the 1 on each arm, you got ones up here, here, and down here. So not only do you have your pants pocket here, you got a pocket on each knee. I'm not quite sure why I would want a pocket on my knee, but again, these were like $25 worth shipping. So, you know, it's not too bad. If there's a way you could throw it, if I could throw this into my backpack, you know what? Yeah, I probably want to waterproof it, but don't have to. There's one little problem with it, and I will say this: if you are looking at this and figuring, "Hey, I like that," these have a zippered a little zipper access in the back. I'll turn around in a second and show you. That has a strap in it. I found out what that was for. That's so if you're in the tank and you become incapacitated, that to get you out of the tank, they can unzip that, and they got access to the strap in there to pull you out of the tank. In that situation, yeah, if I was driving a tank, I'd want somebody to be able to get me out too. But just every other day use, that little strap back there is really irritating. So without a shirt on, it's really noticeable and it irritates. I'm not going to remove it because it's actually goes way down here, so it forms back supports right here. So in case you was wondering about this, that's what this is. It's Swedish camo. Okay, whatever. I like it because it's a nice addition. I could throw this in a backpack along with everything else if my clothes got wet, or I could even put this on to sleep in, you know. So I just thought I'd throw that out there and share that with you guys, that in case you was like wondering what type of outfit this is. Just got it a couple days ago. Thought I would wear it in this video. And at first when I got it, I'll say this, it was a little stiff. Washing it does help take out the stiffness. So, you know, they're not that expensive. I'm sure you can look them up. I think I got this one at a place called Midwest Military Supply or something like that. Unfortunately, they only had medium, which fits me fine. Doesn't exactly fit my son, or else I would have ordered him one. But, you know, I can't, you know, you don't have to get this. They come in any of them. Just, I know this was talking about fishing, and I still am, but just an idea if you wondered about this. These coveralls ain't bad. Are they bushcraft? I don't know. What else? Gives you plenty of places to put stuff. Being one piece does take a little bit used to getting them on and off, especially off. But just, I just wanted to tell you about that, just in case you was wondering what this was I was wearing. So I hope you found everything I said about fishing helpful. Please like and subscribe, and let's help me make my channel grow. I'm doing this one for my front yard right now. It seems like everybody wants to drive through, but you know, just showed you a couple reasons on why I'm making the spear. You got, not only can you catch fish, you can do frogs. It also helps you, you know, stand, walk. You can use it for a multitude of things, not just fishing. You can, a snake gets in your way, you can either move it or potentially spear it to eat. You know, nobody really talks too much about this usefulness of a spear. I know a lot of people are probably thinking, you know, spear, you know, throwing. I wouldn't throw it, but, you know, like I said, this one's a lot longer than the other one I made. But it does have, like I said, it has its uses. You can make it as simple as that, or you can make it look fancy. But it's up to you. Again, like and subscribe my channel. Let everybody know about them, and I'll see you at the next one.